What are you doing?
Just wanted to be outside. I have seats outside by my place, so I came over here.
Alright. Well, what's up and good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. Derek, do you see what I see?
I think I see what you see.
Derek, is there a creepy white van in my driveway?
There is. Oh, what? A man with a slightly small shirt on?
Wait, hold on. What was that?
What? Nothing.
What was that?
Nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. I was talking about the van.
Dave?
Ryno!
Dave! Dave, watch out, man. The trailer right there.
I'm well accustomed.
Dave, I don't think the camera heard, but Derek said, is that a man with a slightly small t-shirt on?
What? I think you said it and you're just framing me.
Is that a man who thinks that's a mustache?
Oh!
Fair enough.
I was thinking that you didn't look sleazy enough before,
Right?
but I think we're really, you know, making solid connection now. You know.
Dave, teach him, man. When you're on the mat bare feet, this is Jiu Jitsu 101. And Dave's taking the boots off, man. That's a man that cares.
Well, you gotta, I mean, show a little class, you know.
Hey, buddy. Oh.
It's pretty good.
It's true.
No,
Chris did challenge.
that's Chris, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm telling you that he did. Like, although he was trying to get out of it the other day. So
Oh, no, I was there. Yeah, I was in the truck.
Yeah.
I heard it.
All right.
Yeah.
So for those of you wondering, Chris challenged
Yeah.
Dave. I wouldn't call it like an exhibition, but probably like a little sparring, a little jiu-jitsu sparring.
He called it sparring, but we're talking about jiu-jitsu.
So Derek, climb on top of Dave there.
Absolutely not.
He needs a demonstration.
Absolutely
Climb on top of Dave.
Big in front.
You get in there.
Oh, give me a knife. I mean,
This one piece right here.
Let me get that hat out of there. Watch out, Derek was a cheerleader, Dave.
He's a cheerleader?
Not really sure what's happening right now, guys.
Derek's running. That's what's going on. I didn't want to admit this, but I actually took some jiu-jitsu lessons on my last deployment. And I learned some things. And then he did this one thing that really pissed me off. And it was just this.
Alright, now this is a different type of video here, guys. Well, guys, so what we're doing today is we're going to be swapping out that door over there to something I think is going to be a cool little feature in the room. As well as we're going to start getting planned out for the door casing, the baseboards. I don't know if that's exactly going to happen today, but it should happen in this video.
I use my weight.
Oh, you guys are still, are you guys done?
For now.
Oh, okay. You ready, Dave? You ready for this, buddy? You ready?
Hang on. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, all right. One of the things we got to fix today is we've got this exterior door here that sticks pretty good here. More so on the, yeah, right there.
Thinking this might be.
You think them scrapes right there are why it's sticking? I got all of it, Dave.
All right, take it to the horses, dog.
Coming to the horses, dog.
I'll put my flip flops on.
This door's been sticking. It's an exterior door. There's a chance there's something weird and wonky in the jam there, but we're gonna trim just a little bit of this.
It's not the most perfect jam install I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're gonna trim a little bit of the weather stripping off the bottom, but it does get windy and dusty out here, and I don't want my beautiful jam floor to be dusty, so we're gonna leave the back section. Hope that alleviates some of the sticking of the door closing. Worst case scenario, this whole thing comes off and we put a door sweep, an exterior one.
This is what we've become right now.
Cut the front, we've cut the middle. We're leaving that back section on. Dave, you want to fit this and see if it works?
Yes. You're in.
It's better. We'll call it good.
We'll call it good?
We'll call it good. All right, so our next step here is we're going to remove this door that does not match any other door here. And Chris is on his way right now to replace the door. Allegedly. Well, and breakfast. So this door right here, you'll see that you go to close it. You know, either there's a bow in the jam, the strike latch is in a weird place, or there's a bow in the door. But you gotta give it that extra little push to get it to fully close. So it could be the strike latch is in a weird spot.
It is. Obviously, you have the same contractor install this door as installed that door. I tell you that much right now.
So one thing we're talking about reveals is when you look around the edge of the door here, you're gonna see basically that gap between the jam and the door. We'll call that 1/8 fat at the top. And then we come down here to where we're like a solid 1/4 inch. Ideally, you want similar reveals all the way around. Clearly here, we got some type of tweaked issue, probably in the jam, more so than the door.
See, we like most carpentry is all about the reveal, right? Which is really nothing more than parallel lines. If it's an eighth up here and we want an eighth down here, and if we were really sophisticated, it'd be an eighth here and an eighth here and an eighth there, all equal, equal, equal. I mean, that's what you're going for, you know, but you go for perfect and then you get what you get.
Problem is here, we didn't put in the door jamb. We're not gonna pull this jamb out because the other side's got the casing on it and the other side's all finished off, so we don't wanna do that. So we are just gonna be putting a new door slab in, and basically we're just gonna kinda have to compensate for what we got.
Well, we can trim the door probably to match the jamb. The dinosaur is out here, man.
Where are they at? Oh yeah, they creep around a little bit. Oh shoot, Dave, that one spotted you, buddy. We took a break here for breakfast, and I sent my best crew on it over here. So if you guys don't know, donkeys apparently love cardboard, and anything that's in cardboard boxes, they will grab and fling everywhere.
Donkeys. Although I do love the show Shrek.
Okay. Here we go. Let's unveil the door. Dun, 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 dun. Perfect. Is that a one light privacy glass MDF door? So we got our new door out there. We're gonna take measurements off of our old door here. And Chris over here all prepared. Now we can walk back and forth.
The only thing I don't like that's going on is I feel like Tiny's going the extra mile as usual, you know?
Yeah.
But it feels like there's like some pent up resentment or something.
You think like a
like I can't work like this.
Like a Jiu Jitsu
I can't work like this.
spar would get that out.
I mean, you know, I need you on the team, man. You know, I mean, you know, team.
A little tired.
So Tiny, what I'm seeing here is Ryno pointed out you got a novel gap here.
Yeah.
Which is
Too
one
big.
way to explain too big. I like going with the 3/8 myself.
Okay.
You know, that's like a what do they call that? An industry standard. And then from there, what I typically do is I'd put it on the hinges. Then, see, I'd take the new door, put it on the hinges before I trimmed it and everything.
On all the trim, casing, and base. Would you go black? Would you go white? Or would you go dark gray?
I'd probably go with the, if you could get dark gray, that'd probably be the way to go.
Well, I mean, we can make it any color we want. So typically, if you were like super wonky on your door jamb here, you could trim the door at that wonkiness to kind of try and hide that and eliminate any like binding issues. But what we're gonna try and do is we're gonna try and pad this hinge out a little bit since we're so tight down there. We think if we pad the hinge out, it'll bring this gap tighter over here, which will then equal out to the gap up top there. Stretching out, or is that the workout? Oh, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Solid. Bro, why are you so red? You breathing like Gunner. Got it off. Take it off. Oh, easy, Dave. Old door is off. We're gonna pull it outside here so we can make sure we made everything up to the new door. Right now we're transferring the hinge locations from the old door to the new door. Now you're gonna notice the size difference here. You can see here we're about a quarter bigger. Now if you've ever bought or swapped doors in your house, you know that like just because your door is supposed to be a 30-inch door doesn't mean that the jamb is exactly 30 inches. 30 inches is kind of a reference and you trim from there. I feel like this is knowledge that we're about to get dropped right here from our good man Dave.
If I show you, because it's such a small detail that.
So hold on, let's rephrase this. Chris just asked Dave, he said, hey, if you're gonna be trimming the door widthwise, as soon as you trim it from the hinge side, not from the latch side. And Dave says,
no, you wouldn't. And I have a real reason for that. Which I can best illustrate in a computer. Chris is a little like, oh my God, dude, I don't know if I need a computer. But I could answer the question in a way that you would never forget it if you gave me like 40 seconds in a computer, okay? Shouldn't you trim the hinge side? He used the term plane, but it's 2020, so we're no longer plane.
We got tracks for a track saw.
True. And I learned this on a computer, and so I figured out, since carpentry is an oral tradition, then I thought I'd share it with my good buddies about why it is that you would want to do while you're trimming on the latch side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a door that's 30 inches wide. So I'm going to put a little hinge pin right over here in the side of the door, right? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a circle, okay? Because what we're going to do is we're going to arc the door, and what I'm going to do is draw a 30-inch circle here, okay, as big as this. Now, if I zoom in here, you see how on the back side of the door, so this is a door right here, right?
Yep.
And on the back side of the door, if you think about that 30-inch circle, crap, we don't want it to be 30 inches for it to clear this guy right here. We actually would want it to be, the radius of that circle is why when you trim a door or plane it, like if we was in old-timey Little House on the Prairie, then we'd plane it with a 1 degree angle to accommodate for that circle. That's all I wanted to show you. That's all. That's it. Like that's the reason for that turn. Now, if you go to the Home Depot and you buy like a metal door, or if you order like a fiberglass door or something like that, where they have something that's not trimmable, like metal or whatever, then what they'll do is you'll say, hey, I need a door that's 30 inches. And what they do is they say, I bet he isn't thinking about this problem. And what they'll do is they'll automatically order the door 3/16 inches smaller than what you just said.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know that.
How many short doors did you come up with?
Just the one. You know, it only takes one.
All right. Right now, Dave is getting the router ready. We've got the Milwaukee 18-volt cordless trim router. We've got some templates over here to mortise out for the hinges. Now, unfortunately, none of the templates we have match the radii of these hinges, so we're gonna have to try and make do over here, but I think we're gonna be able to pull it off. The only thing I don't like is that we only have 2 hinges on this door. Something I should have checked first, because then we could have bought 3 hinges. I don't like 2 hinges holding the door up. It's not a light door. If it was just like a regular MDF slab door, it'd be no problem.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Chris has found 3 hinges here. Cool, so my worries are gonna be alleviated. Chris found 3 hinges in his truck, so we're going 3 hinges. We got our router template clamped on here. Dave is tightening up his little standoffs down there. Now, the only issue we have is we don't have a template exactly for these hinges. So the one that has like the correct radii for the hinge isn't the correct width. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this radius in this corner, router out, then we're gonna shift the whole jig this way, that we can use that radius on that side.
Pain in the butt, but hey, you know, when life gives you AIDS, you make lemonades.
Dave, ladies and gentlemen, Dave.
So if you're trying to figure out how to drill the center of a hole on a hinge, you're not alone. You know, we've been doing this for 6,000 years. That's how long like the Sumerians have been around. So they invented this thing. Well, a dude by the name of Vix, his last name is Vix. I don't know. What's his first name, Ryno?
Bit.
Vix, Bit came out with this drill bit that centered the hole.
So you you set her in the hole right there, and you'll see this little. Let's see.
It's got a spring. Yeah.
Yeah. As you press down on it, basically it centers itself in the hole, and as you press down, the bit comes out, basically ensuring you get a center hole every time.
Yeah. So you gotta be like, you don't have to go. Yeah. Like.
Super quick, super easy, no thinking involved. Look at all them perfectly center holes.
My guess would be like $10.
Yeah.
You know.
Worth it.
Like, yeah.
Purchase one. Now, if you guys have never used a track saw are like especially for doors. I feel like they were invented for the repetitiveness of slicing doors.
Or if you're making portals for Sony.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
these things are an absolute must-have. Obviously, Festool being like the highest end in the business. I'm still waiting for Milwaukee to make a cordless track saw.
I ain't gonna blow smoke or anything, but the track saw, and Festool is obviously amazing, but like I haven't tried one for like Makita or Milwaukee or whatever, but I would get one. It's one of the tools where I'm like, how did I not do this sooner? Like,
well, here's the thing, and in the past, Dave's been pretty cheap about like giant purchases. What was this thing? About $1,200, I think, was the track saw for the Festool.
I think it was like $1,500 all in, or it was buy a $40,000 track table saw and rent a shop.
So you can get cheaper track saws. I do know that I believe Makita makes a cordless one. DeWalt I think does as well. You can get it for probably $500-600. You don't have to go Festool.
So you set the depth here. Now I'm gonna blow through 1 3/8 inches here. I'm gonna do it in 2 swipes. Okay. Now on a straight 90-degree cut, you don't really need clamps. for the track to stay put. I still have a hard time trusting it on something like a door.
Yeah.
So I go ahead and clamp
So we
it.
got the clamps, but the cool thing about the
But
clamps is
you
they
kinda
lock
don't
in
need it.
to the channel right there. So the clamps just lock in. Like, it's a super sweet, super simple system.
I wouldn't steer you wrong. I'm a believer, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 cuts. I set my depth of the cut right here. Don't pay any attention to the numbers. I don't even know what they mean, but I'm going to do 2 cuts.
Close the kit. There we go, David. All right, buddy, hold on. Nice. Now that we've test fit it and checked our reveals, we know how much we want to cut off the door. So we're using the longer track for the Festool track saw. Gonna get it all set in place. You see our little line right there. Let's get it. Dave has now put a 1-degree bevel on it. So now, anytime you make a cut on something that's finished, or well, gonna be finished, you want to kind of ease the edge on here. If you have a hard, sharp edge, it's more prone to chip off. So come in with a nice little sandpaper, ease that bad boy, put just a tiny little radius on her. So we've gone ahead and got our 3rd hinge put on here, as well as mortised it into the actual jamb. But one issue we're running into, which I think was the issue on the old door of not wanting to fully close. So this little piece of trim here, or the stop, which would basically stop your door closing on that side, we think it's shifted too far to the front here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this. This is actually a strip piece. This isn't like molded into one for anybody that hasn't seen that. So we're gonna cut this off and we're gonna shift it in just a little bit. You can see where the top pieces are. They don't really line up anyway. It's too far this way. Dave, Willie's trying to steal from you, man. Willie, what are you doing, man? You over here trying to steal from Dave? Oh, well, I found the culprit, man. You left some cardboard. That's like donkey treats. Dave's opted to make a little jig for the hole saw, just to eliminate any chances of that thing jumping or anything like that. Now we do have the pilot bit on here, but this is also a great method if you don't have a pilot bit for a hole saw. Just make a little jig, a scrap piece of wood.
Putting this there, I mean, we got glass there, we got blah, blah, blah. So dealing with like trim carpentry, like take a second, you know?
We got the handle on, got the latch in. Dave's marking it right now. We're gonna mortise out.
Multitasking at its finest. I'm not really doing a good job of vacuuming here though.
Door hardware's on. We're function testing everything.
Obviously this hardware's got to get pulled off. That way we can paint the door because right now it's just primered. And there's a chance it might get swapped out to a different handle at some point. All right guys, well that right there is a fully functioning installed, nice frosted glass door for the bathroom, which I think changes the look of this place immensely. Well, yesterday we got the door put in, and this morning I'm running around getting everything measured out to do all the trim work, the baseboards, as well as the door casing. One thing that's kind of a bummer about this garage conversion is that we have these concrete stem walls, which basically limits the height of the baseboard that we can put. Me personally, I like to go with big, substantial baseboard, like 6-inch base. It just makes things look more modern. But since that stem wall is going to limit us because we can't really go taller than that concrete stem wall without it looking goofy, so we're going to end up going with a little bit smaller of a base than I would like. Now, one thing we're going back and forth on is the color of the baseboards. Originally, we were going to do black baseboards, black doors, and just make this room really kind of dark. Now that I see the white doors, I really do enjoy seeing them white, and so I don't really want to darken the room up that much. Chris suggested we actually go with this darker gray and do all the baseboards as well as the door casing in the same gray that we have on the wall, but obviously we use the different sheen, so it would be like a semi-gloss or something like that, like you typically do trim work in. So really it's black, dark gray, or white. And you can see what white looks like where I left off the paint on the walls here. So, well, today ended up being an absolute complete wash, having to drive around to 2 molding stores, a couple of Home Depots. I finally found the size baseboard that I was looking for. Apparently I have the most elusive baseboard size that exists. So hey, tomorrow we're gonna get these painted and then hopefully installed, or maybe tonight, I'm not sure yet. It is super windy at the ranch, so I don't want to paint them outside, but then I don't want to paint them inside over my gym floor. Jeez, you guys can probably hear the wind behind me. You guys can probably hear the wind behind me. It's getting a little crazy out here, which probably means we're losing power again. We're gonna try and protect my very expensive gym floor the best that I can. I guess we're gonna start painting some baseboards tonight. Pretty well here. I don't know if I'm still sold on this idea of doing the baseboards in the same color as the wall. This was Chris's suggestion. We're gonna run with it. I've seen it done in a lot of the higher end homes that we do, but to me it's just kind of a waste of a detail. Like, why put a really nice baseboard in if you're just gonna paint it the same color of the wall to make it blend in? Clearly, we're committed now because these are already getting all pre-painted, and I'm a fan of pre-painting things before installing them. Yes, you're still gonna have to touch up all the nail holes, but this just eliminates a ton of painting you have to do once it is installed, because now you can come back and just touch up the little spots. And speaking of touching up little spots, one of the reasons I opt to roll base and trim instead of spray it is now that it has a little bit of texture to it versus a nice perfectly smooth sprayed finish, it is easier to touch up and hide the fact that you touched it up. If you sprayed something and you have a nice glossy finish and you try and touch it up with a brush, you're gonna see those brush strokes. I also went ahead and painted our glass door to the bathroom, and then we'll pull the plastic off. Well, maybe we should just leave the plastic on. But this is all for tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Today's a big day. We're finally gonna be installing the casing and the baseboard in. Oh, I just got a pokey aloe vera plant or whatever that is to my leg here. I feel like we made a mistake on the color. I'll show you guys in a second. I let Chris and Dave talk me into painting the baseboards the same color as the wall, which like has never been my favorite look.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, hey, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, great. Good to see you.
It's a little cold out here.
Now I also went ahead and changed out my casing. We wanted to go with a pretty substantial door casing.
Something thicker, but obviously we were limited to 2 3/4 before you hit the glass from the mirror here.
Unfortunately, Home Depot doesn't carry anything that big, and all the suppliers in town that I went to didn't have the actual casing size that I wanted. So I bought something smaller from Home Depot. Quickly realized that was gonna be a mistake and not gonna work because, as you'll see over on this door,
The way they kind of had to pad out the jam from the actual framing, like a real skinny board isn't going to work without doing a lot of texture and wall repair.
so I ended up finding some,
2 3/4 inch door casing.
got it all painted up last night, and then we did a little test.
With the baseboard painted in the same color as the wall, but with a different sheen. So that's a semi-gloss, whereas the walls are flat paint.
And I don't know, guys, I'm not a big fan of it. Obviously, coming up the wall, you're gonna see it once you
You get onto the stripe and you get to the lighter gray.
But to me, it looks like you were lazy. I've seen this a lot in houses where they just paint the whole wall all the way down, and they didn't want to tape off or they didn't want to cut in the baseboard, so they painted the whole leg. And I should have known, because our good buddy Dave, one of his favorite sayings is, the best detail is no detail. So
That right there is kind of no detail.
I'm not a big fan of it, but we're gonna be lazy at this point. I don't want to sit here and repaint all these and try and go with a different color. The only good thing is though, this floor is not level. Obviously, being a garage, there is some slope to it. So like a house foundation, typically the entire foundation is poured level. Now your garage always has a slope. That way water, liquids, if you drive your vehicle in after it rains, you drive your vehicle in covered in snow, like there's fall so that the water can get out of your garage.
The good thing about this being the gray that is the same as the wall is you don't really see that from that end to that end. There's a 2-inch difference in height from the mirror to the floor, because obviously this floor is sloping.
Chris and the boys are out putting a lap in on the pit bike track, and then me and Chris are gonna start installing some baseboards and door casing.
Supposed to be working. No, just leave it right there, buddy. Just leave it right there. We're supposed to be working over here. Let's see what happens. And you guys got Chris working on his own bike?
Go around first, do all of the door casing.
We've got our first piece in up there. This will kind of give you the effect or the look that we're going to be achieving here.
Looks good, bud. You're doing a good job.
I think it looks good.
All right.
The black will look good too.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, typically,
You know, I'm a big cordless Milwaukee fan, so we'd be running around with the 18 gauge Milwaukee. We're going to be using the Metabo over here, 18 gauge. Reason being, I have the first gen Milwaukee 18 gauge, which while it's great if you got to run in and do something small real quick, the success rate of nails fully sunk isn't as high as I would like it to be. I know the second gen is way better, so if you guys go buy one now, you'll get the second gen. It's a better one, but just so I don't have to sit here and like chase stuff with a nail punch or anything like that, we're going to use air. We interrupt today's episode with a word from our sponsors, ASV Levers. Derek?
I'm supposed to say that part.
We'll try this again.
Today's video is sponsored by... Let's fight right now. Let's fight right now. Let's fight right now. Let's fight right now. Exactly. Today's video is sponsored by ASV Levers.
Oh, great work.
Please sponsor us.
So, we're going to install Chris's Christmas gift here.
Short lever.
That is a very short lever.
That is a very short lever.
There you go. Hey, that's the right size lever right there. That is a great size lever. Chris, you might want to have Zach double check that everything's tight.
Hey, it's your bike.
Chris, get on it so you can figure out if that's where you want the lever to sit. Y'all can finish the K20 build.
Right. Around here, y'all boys. Hey, hold on. This is pre-painted. This is pre-painted. Don't scratch the pre-painted.
I'm gonna do to hit him what I did to Zach.
I got a cramp. I got a cramp.
Don't make me get the nail gun and start shooting.
Go give me the cattle prod.
On Chris's old street.
Is that you
That was
tapping?
a tap.
No,
You came after me.
Why you gotta bend my glasses, man?
You came after me. You jumped on my back.
Meanwhile, me and Zach, we're great friends. We don't fight.
Yeah, I don't like it. Meet up.
You know, 10 degrees outside, really like 50, but it's freezing. We actually have our first storm coming in. Big storm that we, haven't lived here through a storm yet, so this should be exciting. But we've gone ahead and got all of the base pre-cut. As you can see, nothing is nailed to the wall yet. We just went ahead and made all of our cuts. There's so many weird, crazy angles in this place. It has been a little time consuming trying to figure out all the different angles. I mean, you can see just in this little like entryway here, everything's like kind of a parallelogram, but not really a parallelogram. So it's been a mission and a half finding out all of the angles, but we're ready to go. We're gonna start stapling into the wall and let's go. Ready?
Let's do it.
Take that all day. Inside, we're still very heavily Milwaukee tooled outside here. We've got the Milwaukee tower light, obviously providing light for my cordless Milwaukee miter saw. This thing is one of my favorite Milwaukee tools. I absolutely love this miter saw. Super convenient, super strong. We've been running it just off of a generic 5.0 battery, like not even one of the more modern batteries that they make. And this thing has lasted all day through, quite a few cuts, as you can see here. My favorite part about it is it doesn't rely on a laser or anything like that. I think DeWalt actually did this first, but it has a light that it projects over the blade. That way you can see the line that's on the piece right there. That line is where that blade actually is. In the old days, they would actually use like a laser sight, kind of like on a firearm. And the problem with that is just because like to sight it in exactly where your blade is next to impossible. This thing, even if your blade is warped a little bit, you're gonna see that because the light is showing exactly where that blade is. So highly recommend the Milwaukee miter saw. That's first gen too, and it works great. To end the night, I've gone ahead and shot everything onto the walls here. The only thing we haven't attached yet is that one over there. Anything that's on the concrete stem walls. It's really cold out right now. I don't want to try to use any type of adhesive in this weather. I'm going to wait till it warms up a little bit, so that's just going to have to wait. I'm not going to bore you guys with taping and caulking and touching up and painting all this stuff, so you'll see it when it's done probably in the next video. But with that, we're going to wrap up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now so you do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com because if there's anything you want in this life, you got to be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. Roll the outro.
Damn.